What if I told you that the key to a fulfilled life lies in an ancient philosophy, one that champions virtue, wisdom, and emotional resilience? Welcome to the intriguing world of Stoicism, a philosophy that has its roots deeply embedded in the ancient soils of Greece, dating back to the 3rd century BC. Stoicism, though old, has found a way to stay relevant, witnessing a resurgence in the modern era. Its principles echo through time, providing guidance to those seeking tranquility, fulfillment, and wisdom in an ever-changing world. Our story begins in Athens, where a merchant named Zeno found himself shipwrecked and penniless. In his quest for direction, he stumbled upon a book by Socrates that led him to the Stoa Poikile, or Painted Porch, where he began sharing his insights on virtue, morality, and tranquility. His teachings laid the foundation for what we now know as Stoicism. Stoicism teaches us that while we cannot control the world around us, we can control how we respond to it. It encourages us to cultivate inner strength, wisdom, and resilience, emphasizing that our happiness lies not in external possessions, but in our inner virtues. Over the centuries, Stoicism has been embraced by many great minds. Among them are the renowned Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, famed for his written meditations on Stoic philosophy; Seneca, a statesman and dramatist who became one of Rome's leading intellectuals; and Epictetus, a former slave who rose to become an influential philosopher. Each of them, in their own way, has left a profound impact on the world, inspiring generations with their wisdom and courage. In our time, Stoicism has found renewed relevance. It provides a roadmap to navigate life's challenges, fostering resilience in the face of adversity, and equipping us with the tools to live a fulfilled life. It's not just a philosophy, but a way of life, a guide to living well. Join me as we journey through the 13 Stoic rules that can potentially transform your life. From understanding what's in our control to choosing our response and practicing misfortune, these rules offer a path to a life of wisdom, virtue, and tranquility. Rule number 1: understand what's in your control. In the grand theater of life, there are 2 types of elements: those we can control and those we can't. The Stoic philosophers of ancient Greece understood this distinction well, and they made it the cornerstone of their philosophy. This understanding, they believed, was the key to tranquility and peace in the face of life's inevitable turmoil. Life showers us with a multitude of events every day. Some of them are within our grasp to change or influence, while others are beyond our reach. The Stoics taught that we should focus our energies on the former and accept the latter with equanimity. This, they believed, was the path to inner peace and happiness. Consider, for instance, the weather. It's beyond our control. We can't command the clouds to clear or the rain to fall. Worrying about it then only leads to frustration and anxiety. But what we can control is our reaction to it. We can choose to let it ruin our day, or we can choose to accept it, adapt, and perhaps even find joy in it. Similarly, we can't control how other people think or behave. We can't force someone to like us or to agree with us, but we can control how we respond to them. We can control our own attitudes, our own actions, our own thoughts. This distinction between what's within our control and what's not is a powerful tool to reduce anxiety and stress. When we focus on trying to control the uncontrollable, we set ourselves up for disappointment and frustration. But when we focus on what we can control, our own thoughts and actions, we empower ourselves. We become the architects of our own happiness. This is not to say that we should be passive or indifferent to the world around us. On the contrary, the Stoics advocated for active engagement with life, but they also understood the wisdom in accepting the limits of our control. Remember, the only things truly within our control are our own thoughts and actions. Rule number 2, choose your response. Now, this rule, my friends, is a real game changer. It's about understanding that while we can't always control what happens to us, we can certainly control how we respond to it. This is a fundamental principle of Stoicism, and one that can truly transform our lives. Consider for a moment the countless scenarios we face daily. We can't control the weather, the traffic, or the attitude of a grumpy colleague. But we can control our response to these circumstances. We can choose to let them ruin our day, or we can opt to rise above them. Choosing our response is empowering. It's like being the captain of our own ship. We may not have control over the winds and the waves, but we can steer our ship in the direction we want to go. By choosing our response, we take the helm of our emotions and steer them away from turmoil and towards tranquility. Let's take an example from history. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers and Roman emperor, faced countless challenges during his reign. Plagues, wars, betrayals, you name it. But Marcus didn't let these external events disturb his inner peace. He chose his responses, he wrote in his meditations, to maintain his tranquility and focus on what he could control. Choosing our response is not about denying or suppressing our emotions. It's about acknowledging them, understanding them, and then deciding how we want to act. It's about not letting our emotions dictate our actions, but rather letting our rational mind take the lead. Remember, every moment is a choice, every reaction is a decision, and every response is a reflection of our character. So let's choose wisely. Let's choose responses that reflect our strength, our resilience, and our wisdom. Let's choose responses that align with our values and contribute to our growth. Life isn't about what happens to you, but how you respond. So next time life throws you a curveball, remember rule number 2. Choose your response and watch as the tumultuous seas of life become a little calmer. Our final rule, number 13, practice misfortune. This rule might seem a bit perplexing at first glance. Why on earth would anyone want to practice misfortune? Isn't life hard enough as it is? But as with many of the teachings of Stoicism, there's a deeper wisdom hidden just beneath the surface. The idea behind practicing misfortune is not to invite hardship for hardship's sake. Rather, it's to build resilience by exposing ourselves to discomfort and adversity in controlled, manageable ways. This practice was championed by the Stoic philosopher Seneca, who regularly subjected himself to periods of deliberate hardship. He would wear ragged clothes, sleep on hard floors, and eat simple meals. He did this not because he had to, but because he chose to. Why? Well, Seneca believed that by regularly exposing ourselves to the kinds of discomforts and deprivations we most fear, we can reduce their power over us. It's a kind of inoculation against hardship. If we're used to a certain level of comfort, then sudden deprivation can be deeply unsettling. But if we've practiced living with less, we'll be better equipped to handle real misfortune when it does come our way. By practicing misfortune, we're not just preparing ourselves for potential hardship, we're also gaining a greater appreciation for what we have. When we voluntarily give up our comforts, even for a short time, we're reminded of their value. And when we return to them, we appreciate them all the more. Now, this doesn't mean we should all start sleeping on the floor and eating bread and water. The idea is to step outside our comfort zones in ways that are meaningful and manageable for us. That might mean taking a cold shower, fasting for a day, or turning off our devices for a weekend. The specific practice isn't as important as the principle behind it. By confronting our fears and discomforts, we can build resilience and prepare ourselves for whatever life might throw at us. By practicing misfortune, we can strengthen our resilience and prepare ourselves for any storm life throws our way. So, we have explored the 13 Stoic rules, but how can we apply them in our daily lives? As we journey through life, we encounter numerous challenges and experiences. These situations often call for wisdom and guidance, and the ancient philosophy of Stoicism provides just that. Let's take a moment to recap the key points from each rule and see how we can apply these principles in our day-to-day lives. Starting with Rule 1, understand what's in your control. This rule reminds us to focus on what we can change and let go of what we can't. It's about accepting the ebb and flow of life and not getting caught up in the uncontrollable. So the next time you feel overwhelmed, take a deep breath. Identify what's in your control and channel your energy towards that. Moving on to Rule 2, choose your response. Remember, we can't control the actions of others, but we can control how we respond. It's about being mindful of our reactions and choosing a response that aligns with our values. So, when faced with adversity, remember to pause, reflect, and choose a response that reflects your inner strength and resilience. Fast forwarding to our final rule, Rule 13, practice misfortune. This rule encourages us to step out of our comfort zones and face our fears. It's about building resilience and preparing ourselves for life's inevitable ups and downs. So, don't shy away from challenging situations. Embrace them, learn from them, and use them to grow stronger. Now, let's talk about how we can apply these principles in our daily lives. The beauty of Stoicism is that it's practical. It's not just about reading and understanding the rules, it's about living them. Start by cultivating mindfulness. Pay attention to your thoughts, feelings, and reactions. When you're aware of your inner world, you can make conscious choices that align with your values. Next, practice acceptance. Acceptance doesn't mean resignation. It means acknowledging reality as it is, without trying to change or resist it. When you accept the things you can't control, you free up energy to focus on the things you can. Lastly, embrace challenges. See them as opportunities for growth, not obstacles. When you face adversity with courage and resilience, you build character and strength. In conclusion, Stoicism offers us a powerful framework for navigating life. It teaches us to focus on what we can control, to choose our responses wisely, and to embrace adversity as a path to growth. Stoicism isn't just a philosophy, it's a way of life. And by following these rules, we can all lead a more fulfilled, resilient, and virtuous life.